Participating in the co-teaching project change what or how you teach? Participating in the co-teaching project has not changed what I teach because I've always been an English teacher, but it changed how I teach in that I now teach 2 sections of co-taught English and a much, much larger population of special ed students who were formerly in resource classes.
And as for me, I don't teach any resource English classes anymore, but I do teach an English lab, which is really nice because I can take the students that we see in our co-taught classes and I have them for an extra hour of the day where we can work on things that maybe in a reteaching way, or they can just work on their homework. But I'm seeing special ed students with IEPs in the general classroom setting rather than in a resource room setting.
Number 2, how much time did it take to prepare your co-teaching lesson compared to your traditional single teacher instruction? We do not have a co-planning period, so this is kind of a difficult question to answer because we don't have a lot of structured time in which we can notice how much time we're putting into the planning. Lots of planning takes place on the fly between Sue and I, and my traditional single teacher instruction planning, that is also it's hard to measure. So number 2, I can't really answer.
Yeah, it is difficult to answer. I think though when the time so that we spend more time planning our lessons are when we're talking about, how do we want to teach this in terms of groups or splitting students up, doing some differentiated instruction, that kind of thing. So especially with reading, I think we maybe take a little more time, or find a little more time, I should say, to try to plan those lessons effectively.
What do you do differently after participating in the co-teaching project regarding instruction, activities, strategies, attitudes, behaviors, etc.?
I think, my attitude is different now than it was even 2 years ago, probably, when we started co-teaching, because my attitude is basically all students should have English in the general classroom, all students should have math in the general classroom.
Yep, I feel the same way. And getting everyone else on board with that notion, both people on the special ed side of the fence and on the general ed side of the fence, they don't really like that theory, I don't think.
No.
I think they like the resource room, but I think that co-teaching is definitely the way to go.
And some of the strategies I will say that I have used in the resource room in the past do work with other students who maybe have never seen them or have only seen those strategies when they were in 2nd or 3rd grade, but they can still benefit from them to help them with their reading skills or math.
How did students respond to the co-teaching? Initially, when we started a couple years ago, it was a little bit rough. They saw me, I was the teacher, and they didn't defer to Sue for even simple issues like going in the hallway passes and whatnot. But this year, the students, I think, really see us as equals. They like having 2 teachers. They like knowing that they have someone there that is the expert in the field of English, but also someone that comes from a nurturing background, special education. They like that. I know that sounds like kind of a dumb thing, but they do like that.
Yeah, I think I agree. And it depends, too, on how you approach it. And it's been approached in our English classes from the beginning as being, it's our class. And that makes a huge difference because I've been in co-teaching situations where it isn't approached that way, and that completely changes the students' attitudes about it.
Now, if we could just get them to put your name on the report card.
Yes, that would be good.
How did this experience change your philosophy of teaching, or how would you like to change your teaching in the future? Well, I think that kind of goes back to the philosophy of that all resource students need to be, all special ed students need to be pulled out of resource classes, put into general ed classes with a co-teaching situation, with a curriculum specialist, with a special ed teacher. That is the way that they're going to be more rapidly brought up to grade level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so as far as future teaching, I want it to continue this way, or even, there are other ideas, to expand on.
So would you be willing to be contacted by other teachers about co-teaching?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, so today we're going to take your essays, your personal narratives that you wrote, and we're going to do some peer editing, all right? And the way that we're going to do the peer editing is we're going to use our colored pencils. First, we're going to read your partner's papers, and you're going to mark on them with green for content. Okay, so everybody take their green colored pencil. All right, green for content. This is just like the other day when we used the student sample that we had, about the skipping one. And what you're going to do is you're going to read the essay, and anywhere where they have a great idea, a great detail, you're going to give them a star, right? Stars are good. Just put a little star out in the margin, all right? And then with your green colored pencil, you're going to write at the bottom, or you could write at the bottom of the second page if it's 2 pages long, with your green pencil, add, okay? And add means certain questions that you want answered, certain details that seem to be missing, things that you don't understand, okay? But remember, when we're talking about content, it's just being on topic and details and examples, okay? Ignore any spelling mistakes, ignore any punctuation mistakes, anything like that right now you're going to ignore, okay? Does anyone have any questions before we start?
Anything else they would like to say that they like about this part, or that you want? Let's stay focused on the liking, because there's a lot to like. Got some good numbers in here. When do you grow your basement? Like all the time?
All the time.
Pretty much whenever you're not.
Whenever I'm home, I usually sit in my basement unless I have friends over. And if I have friends over that have like a video game, we play it downstairs in the basement. Or if they want to play the video game. But yeah, the basement's my main hangout spot with my friends and me.
Okay. That might be something good to add in there somewhere, just because I like how you explained that. Whenever I'm home, I'm in the basement. This is where my friends and I hang out. That would add some good voice
Not
to
gonna
it.
put it in last grade, actually. No more adding stuff.
Right. Good. No more new info. Maybe your introduction.
Yeah. My big Stephen has a big couch.
Did she give you valuable advice?
Yeah, they told me that I had real good, they said they understood most of it, but there's some parts that they didn't understand. And
Okay.
Just the way the words mesh, they didn't understand. And they said I need a little more, like, add some voice to it.
Some voice, so voice and some details.